Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Core Racing Network. Tonight, we are here at the beautiful Brickyard. We are here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway at the rectangle track. Four corners, they're all shaped the same, are all banked the same, but they all handle just a little bit differently out here. We got possibly the one and only time this season where we'll have over 40 cars here in the session, because we had 40 cars at the start of qualifying, which triggered that we're only going to have one session here tonight. So all 41 will make tonight's field, and we'll have a real nice size field here at Indianapolis. Carline, we're joined in the booth by Jimmy Cover. Jimmy, we got a good little turnout here tonight, and should see some good racing here at the Brickyard.
You got plenty of drivers out there watching that, that's for sure. You know, it's one of those unique tracks. You either love it or hate it. I know a lot of drivers say that this track and like Pocono kind of mirror each other, even though this is four corners and Pocono is three. I think it has a lot to do with the uniqueness of each and every corner. Plus, you know, obviously a decent amount of straightaway in between each. So looking forward to seeing how the drivers do here at the Brickyard, and yeah, just another great, fantastic night here at Core.
Let's take a look at the standings coming into tonight, and of course, after just one race, we got Alan Elwood on top of the boards for the Platinum, Shane Therian, Jack Stillman, David Tilford, and Justin Munsell above that cut line. JP Phillips leads in the gold, Trevor Hunt and Dalton Drummonds for your gold, silver, and bronze division leaders, but it was definitely a what could have been kind of night last week for a leader in the bronze there, Dalton Drummonds. He was the only bronze to make the top split last week and could have really gained a bunch of points, but unfortunately the finish didn't work out too well for him, but still got an 11-point lead over everyone else in the bronze division. But Jimmy, I got to give you some time here tonight. We got 41 cars to run through here, so why don't you give us that rundown here of tonight's starting order?
Oh, you want me to run down these people? Oh no, here we go.
They're a little special,
baby. Sometimes they're special. All right, results for qualifying here tonight. Alan Elwood will take the pole again here tonight with Nico Garcia on the outside. Jack Stillman is going to be in third with Sean Verwise, and then Bronson Stafford and Tommy Ryan will make up row number 3. Shane Therian and Matthew Rodriguez will be out there in row number 4. Row number 5 is going to consist of Matthew Simmons. He won over there in second split last week. Qualifying a lot better this week, just in case that we would have that cutoff here tonight. But Grady Gherkin there and Pete number 10. Brendan Jenks in 11th with Robert Kenny in 12th. Michael Larch in 13th with Tater Bowman qualifying up there in Pete number 13. Jeff Ryan and then Joshua Thurman out there. Cody Hemingway, Mark Parkhurst, Tyler Scozen, and Jesse Francisco will round out your top 20. And we'll start with Dave Tilford, Kevin Foster, Tyler Barnes, AJ Roderick tonight, Caleb Collins out there in P number 25. Jacob Lesh shows up here tonight in P number 26. Mark Allen, Joseph Sullivan, Josh Van Weston, Jeremy Gainey, Paul Butler back there in P 31. Dean Gagliano back there in P number 32. Luis Orduna, Matthew Ulmer, Tim Glass will be starting back in P number 35. Joseph Thomas in 36th. Zane Bierman, James Malino, John Crane, Tyler Hoochell, and then Kelly Pointer back there in 41st, sneaking in at the very last moment.
And he made our 41 car field here tonight, and everyone ready to go, except for it looks like Tyler Hoochell. We'll see if he's just going to start from the pits here tonight. But out front, it is going to be Alan Elwood that will once again lead us to the green flag here tonight. Certainly had a dominating car in week number 1 at Dover, and start off the season exactly how he wanted. But tonight he's got an even bigger field to fight through here. So this is going to be pretty crazy here. But I mean, to go from Dover to Indianapolis, you know, literally 2.5 times the size. It's definitely a bit of a different, eye-opening, you know, type of track here. And certainly, you're going from, you know, you're going 1 mile to 2.5 miles. You're going concrete to asphalt. You're going you know, a big banked turn to smaller bank turns. It's pretty much nothing at all alike.
No, definitely not alike. They're going to have their challenges here tonight, and hopefully they got some practice in. Maybe some drivers that you thought you'd see, you know, maybe towards the front, starting a little farther back. So maybe not having the run they like here tonight. So yeah, we're going to see. But definitely some of those drivers are going to have their hands full up front. Alan Elwood, obviously looking to have a repeat from last week here tonight at Indianapolis. We'll see what he can do. There's a lot of drivers out here. We're out here for, what, 50 laps tonight, right, Carl?
Yep, we got 50 laps here on tap for Indianapolis, and it's going to take all 50 and maybe more to decide this thing. We've seen some crazy races here at Indianapolis. This is one of those tracks, though, where you just build up the anticipation. The pace car pulls off right here in the pit lane, and it's just a slow trek all the way down to the start-finish line until Marty gives that first green flag of the night. But the drivers are ready. Hopefully everyone out there in CRN Nation is ready, because we are racing here at Indianapolis.
Away they go down that front stretch, down into turn number 1, too wide. It's one of those tracks, Carl, where it is possible to run too wide around here. Just got to be careful on the exit of the out of the 2 and 4, as the car likes to get off and, you know, push out to that outside wall really easy. It seems to be like going on the long stretches, so we'll see if these drivers can maintain that and keep their tires in check here tonight. It's always a challenge.
Like Jack Stoneman making a move there for second, getting around Nico Garcia, and now Sean Verweiss to the inside as well. Nico kind of stuck out there on that outside. It is a 2-lane track, like you mentioned, Jimmy. But I think on these early laps, you got some fresh tires, especially the drivers trying to get them warmed up here a little bit, so they can really set it in there. But the outside line is really probably not where you want to be with those marbles and those cold tires in the first couple laps. So everybody's going to file back in here, and we got a good clean start here for tonight. Again, plenty of drivers out there, 41 drivers in attendance here tonight. Looks like we got 40 in the field. So I want to thank everyone out there for getting in here and getting this report for us. It's been quite a heck of a start to the season. We got a ton of interest from so many drivers. I mean, over 60 drivers signed up and paid for the season here. So this may be one of the smaller numbers that you see for total entries for the season at 41, but it is it's a blessing to have this many drivers here just for one series, and certainly the best numbers that we've seen ever in Ford.
Oh yeah, you know, just to have a league continue to grow and show interest and come out here. You know, whether it's to come talk to us in the booth or whether it's just to kind of come out here and have a good time. It seems like Tuesday nights is a very popular evening. We get requests for those days along with Thursdays for some reason, but definitely
middle of the week for some reason just is heavy hitters for everybody. Everybody, I guess, you know, worried about work on Monday, and then, you know, maybe Friday they're just, you know, wanting to go out and party or whatever it is. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they want to get on the sim. They want to get a little racing in, and whether it's you know, here in Core, obviously we have the Xfinity on Tuesdays, we have the GT on Thursdays, but I mean, you've seen for a while in CRM, we were doubleheader on Tuesdays with UCRL, and then on Thursday nights we are currently doubleheader with Virtual Velocity Racing and with the Core GT series. And Wednesday nights we got CSRL right now, and I believe we had another Wednesday night league as well not too long ago. So it's yeah, middle of the week for some reason. It's a popular time to just get out there and mix it up with your friends out there. But we got plenty of new drivers out here in the field, as you see. We do have some of the rookies kind of showing some strength early here. We've seen what Sean Verweiss can do. We've seen him in the Core Clash to kind of kick off the season. We've seen him last week at Dover, definitely having some speed. But another one here joining tonight, and that is Brendan Jenks. He's up there in the top 10 in the 081. You got Michael Larch, Matthew Simmons just outside the top 10. And like Jimmy said, you know, Matthew it didn't exactly have the qualifying effort he wanted last week at Dover, but I'll be damned if, you know, we've had 2 different times in core where we had a second split. One time was for GT, and then last week was for the oval here for Xfinity, and he's won both of them. So he is now dubbed the second split champion here in core.
I mean, you gotta, you know, start somewhere.
So far, so good. A good start for the league here, and it's some drivers were a little apprehensive. Last couple times we came to Indianapolis, we had some things that just didn't go the way that we would have liked. Whether it's just some bad eggs, or whether it's just some moves that were kind of questionable, but. So far, so good. This is, hopefully getting some of the cobwebs shaken off for some of these drivers, and we can really get up there and get at it, as we still got some side-by-side battles and just some good-looking paint schemes. I mean, my favorite color is green to begin with, but...
Off the wall!
Oh,
there's Jack Stoneman.
Yep, Jack Stoneman into the wall. In between turn 1 and 2, we'll see what brought this around. Looks like just a single-car incident. See already sliding up the track, bounced off the wall, a little bit on the inside wall as well. Luckily, look, it just got it rolled up in time to keep it off the track, and you see him yank that wheel to the left, keep it off the track. Let me just, I'll take the little bit of damage that I have, and that's probably, maybe enough that he could probably get in there. And I mean, take a look at it, very little damage at all. Maybe a little bit on that right front there. I mean, that's something that they can maybe buff out and not have to use that one and only faster barrier tonight. Certainly want to keep that in tow as long as possible. But it's going to get us to our first caution here of the night. Alan Elwood still leading the way. Sean Weiss now up into second place as they'll catch up to the pace car here on the backstretch. And, I mean, we're only on lap number 7 here, Jimmy, but I would assume everybody's coming in.
I would imagine so, Carl. It's that time right now. Obviously, lights are out. Everybody kind of got warmed up. It's just, it's obviously they're going to be careful. I think they should be running right around between 17, 18 laps on fuel. So this is about halfway through their fuel cycle, and obviously thinking about when they should come in and how they're going to approach this. So obviously, this here is going to take that. Maybe some of the guessing out of fuel strategy come later on. So obviously minus some 7, you're down 43. So at least if you're thinking 15 laps, so you're at least going to be in here like at least 2 more times. But if you can kind of get those pit stops in when they don't really, they matter.
Well, maybe they don't matter that much, Jimmy, as we have very little takers from the front. And maybe this is maybe they're thinking that the track position is just that much more paramount here tonight. Very little amount from the top of the field coming into the pits. Cody Hemingway, the highest running driver to come into the pits. Tater Bowman, Mark Parkhurst, and quite a few others coming in. Like maybe about half of the field coming in. But I'm really surprised to see all those drivers deciding to stay out here and rather take track position than play the fuel game. And yeah, I mean, this is a track where you're wide open so much and the fuel burns off here so quickly. You're not getting that many laps in there. Certainly, not like your other 2.5 mile super speedways like Daytona and Talladega, where you're just literally flat out the entire time unless you're kind of drafting behind somebody. But here, you're on the gas quite a bit, and even if you're drafting somebody because you want to be full throttle to be able to catch up to them, the draft is helpful here. It'll help you keep up with somebody. We haven't seen it necessarily help pass. There's not as much of a draft that if you get up behind somebody, you can draft them and pass them. If you're on the same speed coming out of the corners, you still going to have a good run out of there and really make it work. But we'll see what these drivers now towards the back are going to be able to do. Looks like Tyler Odeshell was able to make it out there into the field and maybe just started from the pits just for a little bit of safety. Now he's going to be up there in 23rd position. Looks like pretty much everybody taking fuel only, maybe some 2-tire stops to just looking at the pit times here. But yeah, I'm surprised these drivers thinking that track position just absolutely means a lot, because if it was, 2-3 laps, 4-5 maybe, I'd say, okay, all right, I totally get it, but already up to 7 laps, I mean, that's a good enough amount that I'm thinking about coming in at least for fuel.
Yeah, I'm at least topping off on fuel, period, so I don't know. I mean, it's not a short track car though, so like if for some reason some of these drivers have a bad start here, then they float back a little bit, or caution comes out. It's not like they're gonna go a lap down even if they hit the pit under green. So I mean, they'll be close, but they usually don't go a lap down here. So maybe that just has something to deal with it here. Or maybe some drivers just kind of follow leaders. I mean, a lot of drivers, obviously the top drivers decide not to do it, so we'll see.
Well, one and only one, and then it's kind of a surprise to me too. If you're deciding to come in there and give up track position, why not come in there and top off again? And that's what one driver decided to do. I'm surprised only one driver, but Joe Sullivan comes in there and just tops off a little bit more. Granted, it's only 1 lap of fuel under pacing, but every little bit can matter here at the end. So we'll see if this pays off. Not sure what happened to Sean for Weiss. So just blinked out there for a little bit, but he's back. It's going to be Alan Elwood leading us to the green flag here, as he's going to be the control car when we get back to the restart zone. We still got everybody out there. We'll take a look at the man that was involved in the incident, if I can find him in the running order. There we go, back there in 20th. And let's take a look and see how that car looks. And looks like he still got a little bit of that damage. Maybe just came in and actually did not come in at all. He stayed out there. He was one of the cars that stayed out there. He's back there at 20th right now, and hoping that damage isn't going to be too bad for him on the front right. But we're going to get this thing back underway, going through turns 3 and 4 right now. Alan Elwood, Chandra Weiss, Nico Garcia, Tommy Ryan, Matthew Rodriguez, and rounding out the top 5. Then you got Bronson Stafford, Brendan Jenks, Brady Gherkin, Shane Therian, and Michael Larch for your top 10. But how about the turnaround so far? Knock on wood for the number 0-1 there. Matthew Rodriguez goes from second split champion to now up here in the top 5, as we are back to green flag racing. Good restart here from the inside, as Alan Elwood going to pull his teammate Nico Garcia to second place. We'll file in for the front 4 here. Gotta go too wide and a couple of spots back here, but everybody gonna make it through turn number 1. And this work can get hairy on that first restart here, especially for the driver staying out there with cold tires. You gotta be wary about how that thing is gonna handle through the first turns, and definitely a big bobble back there. Looked like it might have been the 38 of Dean Gagliano, losing some spots here on the backstretch as he got wicked loose. Going through the corner, and now 3 wide here as he's going to hang on the inside. Foster in the middle. They're going to make it through turn 3. It looks like it's going to file back down to 2 wide there. That got a little bit scary, a little bit sketchy back here. And this has got to be considered a battlefield. The field is so big. Where is the battlefield here tonight?
I am not sure. I am in my cameras up in the stands. So they can battle wherever they want. Just kind of watching everybody kind of go around here tonight. Just doing a good job, obviously, and with the things kind of going around. A few places shifting around right now. Right up in there in 10th, obviously, Gary Gherkin looks like he's falling back a couple of spots.
The yellow flag is out.
Got the yellow. Oh, looks like towards the back of the pack. Looks like Mark Allen, maybe Luis Orduna involved in this one. Let's take a look at what brought this one out. And it looks like Tim Glass up there in the wall, and maybe Orduna staying down to try and avoid him, but unfortunately cuts across the back of the 33 of Mark Allen. And it looks like Orduna might have blinked out there as well.
He's got a meatball now. Orduna does.
And Mark Allen, not sure if he ended up blinking out there as well, but they end up both going back to pit. Arduna came back on there, but it looks like Mark Allen did not. It's going to bring us under our second caution now. We did have... No, we didn't. Okay, I was going to say, just some guys blinking out here and there as we'll go back live and take a look at the field. But Alan Elwood is still leading, and now 12 laps in, gotta be time for a pit stop at this point from all the drivers that didn't come in. Could shuffle up the field for the ones that just came in on lap number 7, and they can work their way towards the front here. But if you're the leaders, you gotta be getting close to the end of your fuel run to begin with. I mean, this is gotta be a time you gotta come in. You would think. I mean, I don't know at this point.
Maybe it's a little more accepting this time. I'm not 100% sure. Not out there making the decisions here tonight. I do know it can be difficult to pass here, especially if you're trying to save fuel and tires and whatnot. But coming up here.
Clearly, what do we know, Jimmy? What do we know? We don't know anything. Clearly.
Did you give him full tanks of gas tonight?
Maybe. Either way, they're doing a heck of a job out here.
iRacing break their fuel gauges?
Apparently, it's either way. It's working out nice for these drivers right now, as we're gonna have another lap here of caution, and we're gonna see some of the drivers come into the pits. Looks like Dave Topher, Tater Bowman, Paul Butler, among a few others coming into the pits. Not sure why, what happened with with Mark Allen, but end up having to tow back to the pits, whether he fully blinked out or what the case was. But he is still in the pits, showing as 41st right now. We'll take a look down a little bit further in the order, and looks like everybody's still on the lead lap except for Mark Allen at this point, as we're doing it now. Brings 73 in. And even the pace car and Alan Elwood blinking out there for a little bit, so that's going to be on my side. But Alan Elwood is your leader here. Nico Garcia, Sean Verweiss, Tommy Ryan, and Matthew Rodriguez for your top 5. Then Stafford, Jenks, Therian, Simmons, and Skozen for your top 10. And actually, that's not there. It was Matthew Simmons that. I'm getting my Matthews confused here. Was it Rodriguez or Simmons that won the second split last week? Simmons. Okay. Well, either way, Simmons is also up there in the top 10.
The only reason I remember is because, unfortunately, we had to give him the boot because we kept our word. If we had 41 drivers before qualifying, then they would have to have a second split. So tonight we ended up getting that one extra driver after qualified had already started. So I had Steve 41 car field here tonight. So we're not breaking our rules. It's just the way they were written.
Well, certainly it does indeed look good to see all these cars out here on the field, and hopefully we can get a longer stint here of green flag racing. And yeah, I'd be interested to see what the case is here with the fuel, because I would think that I know probably saving a ton of fuel here on these caution laps in here, but I mean, again, already 15 laps into this race.
I want to do a green flag pit stop.
Maybe. I mean, like you said, you're not, unless you're towards the back of the field, you're probably not losing a lap.
The amount of laps the tank is lying to me too. So let me get a hold of that guy.
Either way, we're going to see what these drivers can do if we get a green flag run here, when they're going to come into the pits. I mean, even with full fuel, you're making a pit stop within 50 laps. So either way, if you can make it to the end with one pit stop, even if they had full fuel, I'm surprised they didn't come in and take that. But we're going to get this thing back underway. Alan Elwood going to lead them back to the green. I want to thank everyone out there in Sierra Nation for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, hit that like and subscribe. Give Jimmy that old thumbs up. That's what he likes to see. And get you in touch with everything that Sierra has to offer.
All thumbs around here. Yeah, all the mistakes we've ever made. So just shout out to everybody that's out there. Obviously, anybody coming to watch us here at CRN. Just a great community, a great network, and a great network of drivers and friends and family out there. So Thank you for showing up continuously and faithfully. Shout out to obviously Barry, Easy 2 Studios here tonight, out there in the chat. So if you're out there, maybe we'll get called, make one of those fancy polls and see who's going to be like the halfway.
Maybe we need a poll. You know, how much fuel do you think they have in the car? 50%, 100%. Well, either way, it's got to be something messed up, because this man right here that we're going to hop on board with loves him some yellow flag pit stops, and he has not come in yet. But we'll ride on board here with AJ Roderick back here in 20th position on this restart to give you an idea what it looks like smack dab in the middle of this field.
It's crazy.
Here, how ginger he is going through the corner there on the first time through, and just kind of feeling out the grip of those colder tires now after the caution, and onto the backstretch. Looking back there at Jack Stoneman, trying to work his way back up through the field. Just some amazing speeds on these cars as well. I mean, especially at a track like this, you're ripping some good speeds, and we'll get the dashboard on here. Show everybody what they are up to here. I mean, 150 through the corners, real nice and close there. And Stoneman trying to get a run on Roderick. Good battle behind them, as well as up to almost 190 miles an hour heading into the corner.
Yeah, the TV static cameras are really nice here for this track, because it puts on a pretty good show there. I'm sure we'll get a fair share of those here tonight once we get to do some. I'd love to hear it. But lap 16 in the books right now. Look up. Lap 16 right now. Alan Elwood's out front over Sean Velez. Julio Garcia, Tommy Ryan, Matthew Rodriguez for your top 5, and Bob Stafford, Shane Theory, and Matthew Simmons. Tyler Skozen and Joshua Thurman for your top 10.
These drivers are not shy to go 3 wide. Forget 2 wide. And we talked about how sketchy being 2 wide. We've seen 3 wide quite a few times here tonight. We'll look back through the field here. It looks like a little 2 wide action between Dave Tilford on the outside, battling COVID right now. His wife went on a little vacation and decided to bring back a little present for him, and not exactly the present he was looking for. So running out there, had 103 temperature earlier today. That's not fun, regardless of what you're doing. But being out here, sweating it up with these other drivers out here, I can understand why he's back here in 30th, and just trying to kind of hang on right now. I do want to give a shout out to one of the drivers that is unfortunately not here tonight with us, and that is Joey Cruz, as he's been a staple for the last couple seasons here in the core Xfinity series, working his way up from the bronze, but unfortunately not here tonight, as unfortunately his grandfather passed away, and wanted me to give a little shout out, and it's condolences from the CRN family to the Cruz family, as he was there a lot for Joey and all his racing endeavors, and watched every week here Joey compete at the core Xfinity series. Going to take a week off here this week, and then he's hoping to be back next week at Iowa, where we will we'll give a little moment of silence on lap number 28 for him out there next week. But certainly, if anyone from the Cruz family is watching, whether it be Joey or anybody, or even Joey's grandfather from up above, want to send a shout out and our condolences from CRN.
I did not know that. Shout out to Joey and his family, and keep on rolling. We're not going anywhere here, and thinking about you. As far as Dave being out there with COVID, maybe he's just confined to his room, so he has nothing better to do besides to get out there and race crawl.
I mean, that could be COVID or not COVID combined in his room. I don't know if his wife's going to bring him back something like that. Maybe that's how she treats him normally. I couldn't really tell you. But
drop him off dinner at the doorstep.
Just slide it. Thank you, boss. AJ Roderick is was in a little battle there with the 32 of Tyler Barnes. Falling back here a little bit is the 56, but haven't seen anybody in there taking tires and working their way up through the field just yet. So even though we had some time to get in there for the pits, but now, Jimmy, now we got some green flag pit stops, and these guys didn't want to come in there and get those free pit stops under caution. Well, now you deal with it here on lap number 20, as we got Matthew Rodriguez, Bronson Stafford, Robert Kenny, our first takers into pit lane under green flag conditions here. And it's a straight drive, but it's a long drive all the way down pit lane here. And you get close to going down a lap if you're towards the back of this field. But in the front of this field, trying to check out here a little bit, almost a second ahead is Alan Elwood. Sean Weiss still hanging on there to second place. Tommy Ryan now up to third position. Nico Garcia and Shane Theory into your top 5. But how about Tyler Scozen? Just up a mere 13 position. We talked about how track position means something, how it's tough to pass here. We'll tell that to the 55 team, as he's going to be one of the next ones to come into the pits here with Sean Weiss. But he was up 13 spots before he came into the pits, so you can definitely make some passes here at Indy, as we're going to see a few more into the pits this time. Elwood's still going to lead the way, so now Tommy Ryan in second. But clearly, whether they had 100% fuel or not, they got to come in here and make at least one pit stop. But the fact that it's here on lap number 20, could be some late race heroics here when it comes to that second and last pit stop. We'll see how it plays out. But man, I'm surprised if you're already pitting here on lap number 20, why you wouldn't have tried to take a chance to come in there on lap number 12. You've only seen about maybe 6 or 7 drivers coming on lap number 12, but that's why we're up here in the booth. There's more often than not, we don't know what the heck we're talking about. We just like to talk. that's what we're here.
And they could go green the rest of the way, and then Alan Elwood and the gang will have to come in for one more stop. Obviously, they had a few laps under caution, so the 17, 18 laps is like that. I kind of hinted to here is true. So you see everybody kind of coming in and working their way through, and now you see everybody that has pitted is now out to the front there. So that's going to leave Cody Hemingway as your leader, with Mark Parkhurst, Kevin Foster in P3, Jesse Francisco, Kelly Pointer at 36 positions. We want to talk about moving through the field. Caleb Collins, Josh Van Weston, Tater Bowman's in 8th, David Tilford's in 9th, and Matthew Ulmer's in 10th. So a lot of kind of reversal here. The drivers that wanted to stay out are now in the back. We'll have to work their way through the field. We'll have to stop again unless you do some serious fuel saving, and the possibility we have seen the Xfinity League Series go green for some serious laps at some of these tracks, and maybe this is one of those nights. Maybe they got their cautions out of the way here early. This is going to stir things up, and keeping our eye on some of these leaders have to work their way through the field, through the battlefield, and we've seen how strong some of these drivers are battling for position in that mid-pack, now sitting in the front of the field. So it's, we're going to go through the whole battlefield because as they're, catching up to the tail end now. So they have the talent and speed to do so. Do they have the time and the gas to do it? As the drivers that are out there now will only have to stop one more time in order to make it the rest of the way. But it's going to be easy for them as they came in on lap number 7.
I mean, you take a look at the standings and the timing tower there, and you see the top 18 cars right now. Multiple positions that they're up. I mean, it just chunks of positions that they're up. The entire field has flip-flopped at this point, and the drivers that came in on lap 7, I question if they can make it on. Well, they can make it in one more stop. They're just going to have to take a little bit more fuel probably than everybody else. Yep. The drivers that came in on lap number 12. They could probably make it on one more stop as well. The drivers that just came in, they're going to have to make another stop. So everyone out there is on possibly a one-stop strategy the rest of the way. And our field has completely changed. I mean, Alan Elwood dominating the race here again, started on the pole. He's back in 20th right now. And he's battling with his teammate. Granted, he's got fresh tires, and that's what some of these drivers that are out there right now don't have. They don't have those fresh tires, but if and when they come into the pits to make their pit stop, they'll be able to get some fresh tires and maybe work their way up through there. But it is turned on its head here. And I mean, without a caution, if this thing goes green the rest of the way, we're going to see some crazy results here tonight. That's really going to throw. I mean, it's only the second race in the season, but it's going to throw these point standings for a loop.
Yeah, I think points, obviously with the amount of drivers out here, obviously 41 drivers on the track here, so, it's one every league wants. They want to hit that magical number of 40. We have the ability here, the Xfinity Series, to actually get, what did you say, Carl, 60? Up to almost 60
61.
drivers?
There's 61 paid drivers right now. We even have a waiting list of 4 other drivers that are looking to get into the series. Yeah, it's a little bit popular right now for us.
Yeah, and it's, obviously you get those people that pay the opportunity to get in here and race, and then obviously for over 40 before qualifying, we'll go ahead and we'll let those drivers know so they can head over to, we'll make what Carl creates a separate section and gives them the opportunity to leave this one and move on over. And obviously, if there's anybody remaining, we got that little boot button, like just a boot, no hard feelings, just it's what's put out. So obviously, obviously the first time it might ruffle some feathers. People will be asking why, but it's in our rules, and that's what we said. So obviously, we said before qualifying, and Kelly joined after qualifying already started. So that's why we have 41 drivers on the track here tonight. So not going back on our word, just the way it's worded, and that's the way we're going to keep it. So, but anyways, yeah, Carl, I think the choices out here tonight for as far as pit stops, I'm with the field that has made those decisions. And there's a few drivers that came in on lap 12, whether they are involved in an incident or they just decided to take fuel. Taylor Bowman, Dave Tilford, and Joe Thomas, along with Luis Orduna, Paul Butler, Joe Sullivan, and even John Crane, all coming in there. And that lap 12, it's just going to make it easier, like, to decide when you want to come in. You can short pit. Like, right now, as soon as they even hit that window, they can come in, get tires or whatever, and basically short pit, a little bit. Don't have to take as much fuel, but you get the tires and, use them up, use the max amount of the new tires out here, especially if we stay green here. Now, have they practiced their pit stop? We're about to find out. I ping on it a lot because I see so many positions lost, so many people botch the entry of coming in the pits. A lot of these drivers will move their brake bias down to kind of help turn in here, but you can see cars coming in now, Carl.
Yeah, our top spots, the ones that pit on lap number 7, starting to come into the pits. Caleb Collins is going to remain out. He's going to be your new leader here. But the cars right behind him, including right there behind him, currently the 95 Tater Bowman, is the first car that pit on lap 12. So those cars are going to be able to go out there for maybe another 5 or 6 laps and stretch this thing out. Caleb is definitely known for stretching the fuel a little bit longer as well. So not surprised to see him get one more lap than everybody else that pit on the same lap as him. Probably going to see him coming into the pits this time, but he's got to be wary because these cars behind him here, the 12 of Tilford now looks to the inside, gets around Tater Bowman, but overshoots the entry up into the wall. Not sure if that was a fever dream right there, thinking he was going to make that pass or not, but didn't work out too well for the 12. Keeps it going here, keeps it green, and now I'm sure, you'll see Caleb Collins ducks down into the pits. So now new leader here is going to be Tater Bowman. How about the boy in second? Trying to make the pass at least for second. It is a battle right now between Joe Thomas and Dave Tilford heading into turn number 1, and certainly we see Joe over there as the title sponsor on Monday nights in the Hold Your Brakes Academy with pinupsforvets.com, and definitely want to give him a shout out for that. But he's out here putting it down here, and he's one of those cars, like you mentioned, right now the top 8 cars pit on lap number 12. It's starting to shuffle back around. You see Alan Elwood now back up in 9th place. And it's going to go like this the rest of the way if we stay green. And that's where it's going to get very, very interesting, because all these cars now coming in, now they're getting fresh tires. They're going to put down some good laps here and try to work their way, get a little bit closer through the field. So I think those drivers that pit on lap number 20, 20, 21, they may have to consider splitting this last run in half so they're not getting overrun by all those drivers with new tires, and maybe come out there, get their second set of tires, and kind of keep up here a little bit if this thing is staying green. But as it stands right now, it is Tater Bowman on top, Dave Tilford, Joe Thomas, Luis Orduna, and Paul Butler for your top 5, then Sullivan, Crane, Glass, Elwood, and Ryan for your top 10. But Jimmy, it's crazy. The Platinum drivers are the ones supposed to be in front right now. Dave Tilford, the only Platinum driver up there. We got silvers, we got bronze. We only got 1 Platinum and 1 gold in the top 8 right now.
And it just comes down by pit time and choices. So obviously Tater Bowman being out there leading the way right now in a perfectly good spot. Now down into the 20 laps remain, just under about to cross the line for 20 laps. And they see drivers coming in. Carl, what happened to like all the stretching the fuel here? Are they going to have enough fuel coming in now to make that pit stop? Everything's now kind of going the other way. I figured they'd be out there longer.
Yeah, I mean, even the drivers that pit on lap number 7, I feel like it's going to be tough because these drivers pit on lap 20, 21. I'm assuming they weren't just coming in and short pitting, and they had some caution laps under their belt. So maybe we were wrong. Maybe they can't make it all the way to the end. I mean, right now, Joe Sullivan trying to stretch it out here. I think if Sullivan and Crane can stretch it out here for at least a lap or 2, they have a chance to be maybe the only ones to make it here on one more stop. But it's going to be close. It's going to be tight. We'll see how it all plays out. These are the races that I love. I know for some drivers, they don't like it when it gets all shuffled up and all bungled up like this. But when we have a race like this with a couple early cautions, throw some different pit strategies out there, all of a sudden, if it goes green the rest of the way, oh man, so many different strategies. I'm just licking my lips, I'm rubbing my hands together. It's exactly what I like to see. I like to see a little chaos out there. Right now, John Crane comes into the pits and leaves 1 car out there that pit on lap number 12. Looking at him right here, the 76 of Joe Sullivan. And what did he do, Jimmy, on that first one? He came in and topped off a little bit. So I wonder if he did that again, just topping off a little bit extra on that last caution. It's gotten him in the lead right now. He's got a 6.1 second lead. He's certainly trying to milk that thing. He's losing time hand over fist trying to get this thing an extra lap. But that extra lap could pay huge dividends in the end. And maybe able to get him all the way to the end. Maybe we can get him a top step at the podium.
He's at that window now, Carl. He's at, right now, if he can complete this lap, he'll have 18 laps to go. He should have enough fuel to make it the rest of the way. So we're going to see him come in this time by. So good pit entry, it appears right now. So hopefully it's enough of what he needs to get down those pits. He can't botch us up. He has to get in those pits. He has to make that perfect pit stop and hopefully make that coming in for that last splash work to that car's advantage. 76 might be looking here for a podium finish here tonight and being able to go the rest of the way starting now, falling down through the field. Obviously going to get in there, get new tires and whatnot. So it's going to come back out. Looks like your probably is come right out there, right in front or behind Tater Bowman, I think. So these drivers in the back, I think it's just a little far of a stretch, Carl. The ones that came in right there before Sullivan definitely going to have a challenge. And if they know how to fuel save, they might want to learn how to. They might want to figure it out now. It's probably one of those ones where they shut the car off and turn it on. And I always fear messing that stuff up myself when usually if I can't save fuel by just lifting my foot in the gas. But I've heard people shut cars off before and turn them back on. I'm just afraid if I do that, it'd be stuck in gear and I'm flying around.
I've blown a car up in the pits by leaving it on, so I don't mess with anything when it comes to keeping it on, shutting it off. I don't mess with the starter at all. Nope, no thank you. I'm done with that.
You paid to be in that race.
Exactly. Don't you worry about that. Well, if you're just tuning in, you think maybe you haven't missed much, and you think, okay, it's another race. Alan Elwood got the pole. He's out there to a 3.5 second lead, looking like he's going on another dominating performance. He's finally back in the lead, and he has been the dominant car all night long. He's turning the fastest laps all night long. but he had a span of about 15 laps of not leading and not even being anywhere close to lead. He was back in 20th. Not having any kind of issues. It is because the pit strategies are way out of place right now and could give us one heck of a finish. So if you're just tuning in now, you're just getting to the good part here as we got 16 laps left in this race. Everyone gonna have to come in for at least one more pit stop. More than likely your top looks like the top, I want to say top 20 right now, 21 won't have to make a second pit stop. They just need one more pit stop to get them to the end. Potentially a lot of the field may be good to go on one more pit stop, but there's going to be a few that may need to make those 2 pit stops to get them all the way to the end. But this is going to be interesting to see how it all plays out if this thing stays green the rest of the way. Right now it is Elwood, Ryan, second split champion, Matthew Simmons in third, Tyler Skozen, Chandra Weiss, Michael Larch, Bronson Stafford now coming in. He's going to make his last pit stop. Jack Stoneman, Cody Hemingway for your top 10. So Stafford, the first one to peel off here, maybe taking a short pit. Little short pit action here, get some fresh tires, maybe make up some ground with those fresh tires as well. I don't mind this strategy here at all from a driver a little bit back there in the top 10 with the 61 coming in here early.
Yeah, I was trying to look back there at Sullivan, back there 40 seconds behind Alan Elwood. A pit stop and pit lane time is right around 48 seconds, Carl, give or take. So that within that 50 second window, which would mean if Alan Elwood comes in and everybody else comes in, and Joe Sullivan's out, it'll stay out. Joe's going to come out and have a 10-second lead, with, who knows how many laps to go. So it's huge. They have that call to come in the pits, grab that little bit of fuel at the end, allowing Joe Sullivan to kind of stay out there, just kind of thinking this through now with all the fuel and stuff. He should end up in the lead. So it's kind of insane. Joe Sullivan.
It's kind of insane. 14 laps to go. And the driver that is in 28th position at Indianapolis, 40 seconds behind your leader, could potentially be your winner. I mean, just love it. Love to see that kind of thing. I mean, he's closing because he's got the fresher tires. Yep, exactly.
He's got fresher tires, so that time's, Elwood's probably saving fuel. To try to stretch it out to get the shortest pit possible because he's got a 3-second gap on line. So yeah, let me just take my time here. Tommy's probably saving too. Knowing Tommy, because Tommy likes to run big laps too. But for Weiss, Gosen, Larch, and Jenks, and Gherkin, and Stoneman all coming in. Lesh coming in. A lot of these drivers coming in now. Try to get that short pit. Got 13 laps to go. This is about. Carl, this is prime time when to come in because that's about how long tires last before they start going in.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as you're well within your pit window is time to come in. And that's why I said split that last stint in half, and then come in there and get keep the freshest tires on that car as possible. As I'm sure we'll see some of the rest of the top drivers come in here as well. We mentioned Bronson Stafford. He came in a little bit early. He is behind Joe Sullivan, and we're taking a look at him now. He is 14 seconds behind Joe Sullivan. So just to give you an idea, driver in the top 10, nowhere near the driver in the 76 if this thing stays green all the way to the end. Our leaders into the pits: Alan Elwood, Tommy Ryan, Matthew Simmons, Cody Hemingway into the pits. Fan favorite to the front of the field, Kevin Foster. I believe this is his first laps led of the season. Certainly didn't exactly have the Dover that he wanted to have, but he's got that number 8 out into the lead right now. Mark Parkhurst in second, driver that returned to racing scene here at Core this season. So it's certainly a nice little welcome back to Parkhurst. He didn't exactly have a good Dover as well. A little bit better showing right now. And we mentioned Cody Hemingway earlier as well. I haven't seen him in a few months coming back here. He is a platinum driver and showed his way to the front. He's in the pits right now getting his last pit stop. When will we see these leaders come in? Can the 76 make it to the end? And we haven't even mentioned if the drivers ahead of the 76, like Tater Bowman, pit on lap number 30, Dave Topher, Joe Thomas, all pit on lap number 30. Can they stretch it to the end? Can John Crane also ahead of the 76. He pit a lap 31. Can he make it to the end? I mean, we're saying, you know, Joe Sullivan has a chance. These drivers, if they can stretch it out, maybe an outside chance to even best him and get this thing done, because they got a bit of a lead on Sullivan right now that they have, you know, some time to play with and stretch this thing out. And this is all fine and dandy if this thing goes green. We get a yellow at any point, and it throws all different kinds of strategies out the window and back in and all over the place. But man, this is the kind of race that I was looking forward to here tonight, especially with 41 cars. This is what I'm talking about here. I love the different strategies. I love that right now I feel like about 15 different cars can win this race. And once again, we've had a dominant car out here tonight. Alan Elwood has been the dominant car. And if this thing stayed green and everything stayed on pace, Alan Elwood gets his second win of the season pretty easily. But it's not going to be easy at all here tonight as we see some of the leaders coming into the pits. Mark Parkhurst, your new leader.
Yeah, and Joe Sullivan's currently sitting back there and right around 12th. Alan Elwood not too far behind him, so basically only 5 seconds that he needs to make up. And Elwood doesn't need to save, so obviously I'm sure his goal is to at least push as hard as possible and make as many spots up. But I think Elwood coming in as soon as he could was a good call. Obviously, so he can hopefully make his way, and he basically ended up short pitting somebody that's going to be, you know, trying to fuel save, take their time, and get out there. But I'm sure that Joe is just trying to stretch this thing out and get himself a top 3, a top 5, knowing that maybe he wasn't the fastest guy on the track and trying to use fuel strategy to his advantage. Been one of those drivers, it seems of lately, to kind of bend the car to kind of try to save. He's in a world of traffic right now.
He's in a pack right now, and this is, I mean, it's helping him for his fuel saving, but this is just killing him for time. And now Elwood right behind him. It's only 1 second in between Elwood and Sullivan. So chance of Sullivan getting this thing done maybe out the window, as Elwood is on the hunt. He is turning in some fast lap times, some of the fastest of the race here. And he is hunting down at that 76. Sullivan's got one car in between, but not anymore. He goes to the inside. Alan Elwood does to the inside of the 38. How about 2 for 1? Buy one, get one free. And Alan Elwood gets around Joe Sullivan here. Sullivan's going to tuck in here, try and go as far as he can. Now the question is, do these drivers in front have enough fuel to get to the end? Tater Bowman is still 15 seconds ahead of Alan Elwood. He's got time that he can save. He's got Dave Topher behind him, but on the same pit strategy, so they both have to save. Joe Thomas maybe already knew that. He is 10 seconds adrift of these top 2 drivers and about 5 seconds ahead of Alan Elwood. He may be trying to go for ultra saving and get this thing to the end. Jimmy, it only allows me to put 4 picks in for the poll. Who the hell do I put in? I mean, I have no idea at this point. I mean, I guess you put in maybe Tater Bowman, Dave Tilford, Alan Elwood, and then, I don't know, somebody else? Because I have no idea what's going to happen at the end of this race.
I have no clue. Joe Thomas and John Crane also, obviously just kind of, it's going to be a close one. It really is. I'm wondering if those drivers can stretch it out. I haven't hopped on board with the Camaro. I probably should. Just kind of, I'm not going to say everything, but I'm going to hop on board with some of these drivers and see what kind of strategy they might be using here.
I mean, what a win it would be if David Tilford was able to pull this thing off, and he probably asked his wife to travel to California and bring back COVID all the time, maybe weekly, and give him a chance at getting this thing done. But I mean, we've heard of obviously the flu game from Michael Jordan. Is this the COVID race for Dave Tilford and his breakout here for the season? He was certainly feeling extremely overmatched, being up here in the Platinum division, running with the likes of Alan Elwood and Shane Theory and Nico Garcia and all these heavy hitters up here in the Platinum, and felt really overwhelmed. And maybe this is what he needs to give him a little shot of confidence, as Elwood now moves into 3rd, but you see how far back he is on the timing and scoring. 11 seconds back of Bowman and Tilford. 6 laps to go. Fuel on the mind.
Fuel on the mind here, and I think Tilford might be in that catbird seat as he's following Taylor Bowman around. They're just kind of nice and easy, maybe trying to save fuel, get that little bit of draft, a little bit of help sucking them around here. And we didn't talk much about the draft here. You can, at this track, you don't need the draft to win. You can have a fast car and run away. We were seeing Elwood do that here earlier until things kind of got mixed up with an early caution, and then a later one, just kind of continue to mix this thing up, and maybe not a fuel race turned into a fuel race. So it's just really kind of where things lie right now, and can Elwood make it through the pack? Can Bowman, Tilford, stay out in front? They have 9 seconds, and it's really weighing on their mind. And I'm sure they just have a few more laps to go. But what it would be to see Taylor Bowman, Dave Tilford conquer this and come in 1-2 and possibly be able to finish here on the podium. They got once they're on the backstretch right now, so they got 4.5 or 3,
4.5 laps. Yeah, 4.5 laps to get this thing done. Pole is up. We got Taylor Bowman, David Tilford, Alan Elwood, or someone else. I mean, your guess is as good as mine who you think is going to get this thing done here tonight. It is. It's been crazy, and the reason it's been crazy is because of these drivers out here. I gotta give just a clap to all the drivers out here doing a fantastic job. We wouldn't have all these talking points. We'd have some different talking points if we had a bunch of yellow flags. We've had 2. We've had 2 early cautions here tonight. The drivers have cleaned it up, and it's put on one hell of a race here, and it's given us all kinds of things to talk about. Right here, you're looking at your leaders, Taylor Bowman, David Tilford. Do they have enough fuel to get to the end? 3.5 laps to go. Alan Elwood now going through turn number 2. He is catching them slowly but surely, 7.2 seconds behind them right now, and he's about maybe a 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds faster a lap. So it's going to be close just on sheer pace if he can run them down and get this thing done. But I mean, even if they can't save enough fuel to get the win here, I think if Bowman and Tilford could just get this thing to the end and maybe even sneak out a top 10, I mean a top 5 maybe, but there it is. Bowman and Tilford maybe giving Alan Elwood a chance to breathe a sigh of relief as they will give up the lead. Alan Elwood now your leader here, and it's going to be by about 5 seconds. Tommy Ryan in second place. Joe Thomas still chugging away out there. He's still in third. He's still trying to stretch this thing out. He pit on the same lap as Bowman and Tilford, trying to get this thing all the way to the end. So we'll see if the little engine that could here, the 218, can get this thing done. Speaking of the little engine that could, we haven't talked about the little pepper that could. He has been kind of silent here tonight, just outside the top 10 right now. Grady Gherkin in 12th place right now as we got some shuffling, and maybe Joe Thomas was running out of fuel. He's losing some positions here. Joe Sullivan now up into third. And again, if he's got the fuel to get this thing to the end, he's got Matthew Simmons right behind him. Simmons has got 6-lap newer tires. And then Skozen right behind them has got some newer tires as well, looking to get around. Now Simmons to the inside, and unfortunately, Joe Thomas not going to stretch it out either. He's going to pull it into the pits. The battle for third, the last spot on the podium, is on, and could we see Tyler Skozen up a ton of positions for tonight? I mean, Joe Sullivan obviously up 25 with his different pit strategy, but Tyler Skozen up 14 positions. John Crane in 10th place right now. He is good to go to the end, just falling back there. Of course, we talk about him, he goes up towards the wall, but he's up 28 spots, Jimmy. He's up. That's an amazing result there right now for the 11 of John Crane. But out front, it is Alan Elwood that's going to come around this time by. He's got enough fuel unless he decided to take a little bit too little in the pits. He comes out of turn number 4. Going to see the white flag this time by. One more time across the bricks for the 5 to get his second win already on the season. You see the 77 there of Paul Butler in the pits. Had to make a late pit stop here. Tommy Ryan now just coming into turn number 1, getting passed here by the 73, not for position as Ryan still in second. Matthew Simmons did make the pass on Joe Sullivan to get into third, and what a story for the 49, missing out on the top split last week, getting the win in the second split. Doesn't have to worry about it this week. We get all 41 here in the top split, and he can go from, I mean, a win last week to getting an interview here this week in the top split in third place. He's just going to hold off Tyler Skosen for 2 more corners here. As head into turn number 3, Joe Sullivan looks like he's going to be able to hang in there, maybe get himself a top 5 as he's right behind him, but looking at Skosen trying to set up the pass out of turn number 4. Alan Elwood going to be your winner here tonight. Tommy Ryan getting it home in second. Matthew Simmons going to join us here in the booth with an unbelievable third place here tonight. Great qualifying effort, great finish as well. Tyler Skosen in 4th. Joe Sullivan pulls it off here, gets home in 5th place. A great drive for Sullivan. Bronson Stafford, we mentioned him earlier, taking that short pit. It's got him a couple positions, got him up to 6th position. I'm sure not exactly what he wanted after starting up there in the top 5. He'd like to finish in the top 5. It's still a good finish. Jack Stoneman, we've seen him up there early on in the race, smacking the wall, went all the way back into the 20s. Still got that thing up to 8th, so that's a good finish for him as well. Brennan Jenks, a debut for him that started out pretty well here, up in 7th place after starting in 11th. But what a race, what a finish, Jimmy. I mean, I'm spent. I'm spent after watching that one.
My mind is crazy right now, just kind of sitting back and trying to take in everything that kind of happened here. Is obviously the dominant drivers eventually came out on top here tonight, with Alan Elwood winning over 4 seconds over Tommy Ryan. Matthew Simmons with a great drive tonight, up 6 spots, not being able to make that top split last week, being able to come back here and get a podium finish here. So congratulations to the number 49. Or was he the 49?
Yep, 49, yep.
Yeah, the 49. He has a 69 on his car. So just yeah, I mean, a lot of drivers kind of shifting around. Some other drivers are kind of obviously the shouts of Joe Sullivan for the fuel strategy and trying to make that work. Maybe not being the fastest one out here, but able to make something, make something that maybe was nothing here tonight, as he finishes 23 spots up on the evening. Another one, a good shout out is John Crane, the number 11. Finishing up 26 spots up. That's a long ways to go, and again, using fuel strategy to get out there and get a win. There's a reason John Crane continues. I mean, he's usually fighting for that bronze position, or maybe getting ready to possibly move into the silver division, but winning the championships over there, and just kind of Crane's had his ups and downs, and we've been a long ride with John for quite a few years and quite a few seasons, quite a few series. So to see him get a good finish here tonight is always awesome. And then give it to Kelly Pointer coming in at the last minute, up 25 spots, and at number 75, finishing in 16th spot. So maybe not having the practice he wanted tonight, but definitely getting a good drive here and a good finish for the number 75. So everybody else, congratulations, making your way around here around Indy. It can be difficult. I did see a lot of drivers fighting that wheel, coming in and out of them turns, especially later in the runs as the fuel was light and the tires were worn and probably angry. So just so we give a shout out to everybody out there. Looking forward to talking to the drivers out here and get a rundown on what their thoughts were.
Yeah, before we do that, Jimmy, why don't you give us a rundown of our 41 drivers here tonight? And I gotta say, I think everybody end up maybe not finishing this race, but getting real close. Not sure what happened to AJ Roderick, but it looks like everyone else still running at the end, or within 5 laps of finishing this thing, other than Roderick. But let's run down to that 41 car start or finishing field, and I'll get everybody up here in the booth.
41 drivers run through here tonight, and your winner tonight is Alan Elwood over Tommy Ryan, and then Matthew Simmons in 3rd. Tyler Skosen will finish in 4th, along with Joe Sullivan in 5th. Bronson Stafford in 6th. Brennan Jenks in 7th. Jack Stoneman in 8th. Grady Gherkin finishes in 9th. Michael Larch will be there in 10th. Cody Hemingway in 11th. Sean Verwise back there in 12th. John Crane, as we said, in 13th. Joshua Thurman in 14th. Shane Therian in 15th. Kelly Pointer finishing in 16th. Jake Lesh will finish in 17th. Nico Garcia will finish in 18th. 19th will be Kevin Foster. 20th will be Mark Parkhurst. Tyler Barnes in 21st. Jesse Francisco in 22nd. Rather than it's Robert Kenny, Jeff Ryan, Tater Bowman with a great attempt here tonight, finishing in 25th. Josh Van Westen will finish in 26th. Dave Tilford tried. Wish it would have worked out for you, buddy. But back finishes in 27th. Joe Thomas finishes in 28th. And Matthew Rodriguez in 29th. Matt Ulmer is in 30th. Tim Glass will finish up in 31st. Jeremy Gainey in 32nd. Luis Orduna in 33rd. Bean Gagliano in 34th. Paul Butler finishes 35th. Tyler Huchel in back there in 36th. Caleb Collins back in 37th. Zane Bierman finishing in 38th. James Valano in 39th. Mark Allen in 40th. And AJ Roderick, something happened, but finishing in 14th. Maybe
we didn't have enough green. Yeah, we didn't have enough yellow flags. That's what it was. He's like, screw. I'm not making a green flag pit stop. Screw it is.
We love you, man.
Well, let's go ahead and get in our top three here tonight, and I think it's gonna be a pleasure talking to all three here after finishing this thing. We'll start it off tonight with our third place finisher. If I can grab my mouse is going a little wonky here, but we'll bring in our third place finisher here tonight. And I mean, you got to win last week, Matthew, but this has got to feel special. You go from the second split last week, you get your nickname, the second split champ. You come out here and you get a top three in the top split, man. How does this feel?
Okay, I do have an excuse. I never ran Dover before I even joined that race. So I had like no practice, and I thought maybe my qualifying lap, but honestly, in the first stint, I was like, okay, just take it easy, just take a breather, just learn. And then second, third stint, I'm like, wait, I got pace. I can actually push. I don't have to say my tires or feel. I could just kind of just go. And oh my God, number 55, Tyler Skozen.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Oh my God, he was on my tail the whole entire time. Want to thank my crew. Want to thank my girlfriend at home. Thank our cat, my grandma, my mom, dad. Thank you very much for believing in me. Thank you guys for having this podcast too.
Well, you kind of set a precedent now. I mean, you got out here, you got yourself a qualifying spot, not only in the top 30, but in the top 10 here tonight. So you showed that you have the pace to run with these drivers, and then finishing on the podium. I mean, did you set yourself up for failure? Did you give yourself a little confidence going for the rest of the season? What's the outlook on the rest here?
I'm just here to learn, and nothing else. I'm just here to learn. I'm going to be. I mean, obviously, I raced with Tommy and Gherkin in the USRL league,
yep.
so
Yep.
I know how quick they are, but I wasn't expecting myself to be this quick. But this is a relief of joy. I thought that I wouldn't get into the top 30, so that's why I did a race yesterday. So.
Well, yeah.
Oh my goodness!
You put it down here tonight, and in the largest field that we've ever had on the oval here in Core, with 41 out here tonight, with one driver coming up just as qualifying started. So we let all 41 in here tonight, and you got yourself on the podium with the largest field. So, congrats on the finish here tonight. Before we let you go, do you got anybody else you want to give a shout out to?
Nobody else. Maybe shout out to Cassidy. But thank you guys.
All right, buddy. Well, take some time, celebrate this one, and enjoy it. It was certainly well earned here tonight, and then we'll see if we can get back out there and maybe do it again next week when we head to Iowa.
Yeah, I don't know about Iowa, but we'll see.
All right, buddy. That is your third place finisher here tonight. The 49 of Matthew Simmons, second place here tonight, doing what he could, but just coming up short. The 66 of Tommy Ryan.
Tommy, Jimmy and Carl up in the booth. You copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, buddy, welcome back to the booth. 66 going out there trying to chase the 5 around. Alan has got some speed on him, and you're continuously trying to put it to him. But tonight, kind of start off interesting with a couple early cautions and people changing up the strategy. Me and Carl up here just not knowing what everybody was doing and why aren't the leaders coming in, but everybody decided to come out besides half the field, really toss this field around. So we didn't really talk about the 66 very much, but kind of walk us through what was your thought process early on when those cautions came out and your decision for fuel and tires and whatnot.
Well, I was, going to try to stick with whatever Alan and those guys were probably going to do. I mean, I couldn't tell if they were going to take tires, but I was going to try to at least be on their fuel strategy. So yeah, a couple of cautions there at the beginning, and then I was surprised that they didn't pit and take tires at some point. And I was like, well, I'll deal with whatever they got. So we went, and then Nico tried to change it up a little bit. And it's really a crapshoot, because if the yellow flies in your your last set and there's 10 laps to go, then you're sitting duck, kind of, as some people do. But yeah, Elwood, he was really fast, especially getting out of the box, getting back on track, and getting that first lap in. And of course, he was really good in qualifying. So Alan just was putting down, 2 or 3 laps on fresh tires, and he would pull out at least a second or two on me, and I just couldn't fire off as good as he could. But then as a run went, I would kind of chop back into him a little bit and kind of get, not even really striking distance, but I'd get it back down to maybe a 2 seconds or something. And it was just, he's not going to make mistakes, and it's hard to get to somebody that doesn't do that.
Yeah, your driving style is one that I admire. I'm not shy about saying that at all, and just kind of like the way. If I'm going out there, I'm always thinking, what would Tommy Ryan doing? It just smooth, consistent, and just kind of making your way. And as the laps go on, and I know that you thoroughly enjoy them long green flag runs as over there in UCRL, you guys used to run full tanks of fuel, so it's a little different coming over here. But either way, you get yourself a second place finish, surviving and just having a good run. I mean, you had to be quick, and you're not that far off pace. So hopefully next week you'll have something for that 5. But until then, we want to say congratulations on your second place finish here again tonight, and give you some time for any shouts out at 66.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. It's the long runs are a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm a fan of going fast and not pacing, so it's always a good thing. But yeah, thanks Carl. It's a really fun league. With the short fuel cell and all that stuff, it really throws a wrench in everything, and it can create a whole lot of fun trying to figure out what everybody has and if they have a set left and whatnot. And thanks to my sponsor, Northern Tool and Equipment. Head on over to northerntool.com. Get everything you need for this hot weather. Got a lot of fans on sale. So I'll see you guys next week. Appreciate it.
Definitely look forward to seeing you next week. Again, congratulations, and let's go celebrate with your friends and family.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That is your second place finisher here tonight, the 66 of Tommy Ryan, top driver here tonight. Getting another win here, but I had to sweat for it maybe a little bit here is the 5 of Alan Elwood. Alan, I got to ask you kind of the same question that we just asked Tommy, but yeah, you get a couple early cautions here, and me and Jimmy were shocked when virtually the top half of the field didn't come in on that first pit stop on lap number 7. And then all of a sudden you guys get another quick caution on lap number 12, and still a ton of drivers staying out there. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 drivers taking a chance of staying out there. I could see that, but we were shocked up here in the booth that so many stayed out there.
I didn't want back there. I was staying up in the front. No, we were all discussing it in our within our team, and we're just like we're not taking the chance on it right now. That we know that pitting essentially there in either of those first 2 positions under caution, you weren't going to make it to the end regardless. You were going to have to really, really save, and that really puts you behind the 8 ball, especially at this place where the right front is so crucial to get around these tight corners. After a couple laps, it feels like your right front's already screaming. So I didn't want to bother with doing the fuel and then try to make tires last even longer than what they had to. So was just going to stay out front, try to keep the clean air, and that was all, kind of our mindset. And I guess a lot of other people had the same idea. And you don't want to get back there in the hornet's nest with everybody jockeying for position in the midfield there, because it does get kind of chaotic, and you leave yourself the chance. So you better just stay out front and try to keep the track position.
Well, I mean, we talked about it ad nauseum here in the broadcast that you were kind of the dominant car again here tonight, but for a third of the race, you're back there in the 20s, 20th or further back. So, I mean, how many expletives did you have in the chamber ready to fly out there if a caution comes out when you're back there marred in the back of the pack in 20th?
If you ask my team, I got plenty of them. So I hate to say it, but I do get vocal. But hey, it is what it is. You leave yourself the chance no matter which way you go with the strategy. If you take your tires early or save a set, like my teammates, our team kind of split it down the middle. A couple of us took tires, a couple didn't. And unfortunately for Nico and Shane, it didn't work out with the cautions. They were hoping to have a set for the end there, and no cautions ever came there at the end. So again, damned if you do, damned if you don't type of thing. So yeah, it's just one of those things you kind of have to have luck play in your favor, to be honest.
Well, it worked out nice for you here tonight. You get another win here in the series, and it looked a little more sketchy for us up here in the booth. Not really sure what was going on with the fuel strategy, and did have one person make it there. Joe Sullivan did stretch it out to get there and finish in fifth, just not enough to get the win and scare you too much as you came back through the field. So congrats on yet another win here on the series. Next week you head to Iowa. What are your thoughts on Iowa? How do you think it's going to play out there?
Iowa's really quirky because you have that repave section, and I don't think yet. I don't think I've ran a race there with the changes in the track, so really interested to see how that's going to play out. I really don't know what to expect with that place. Whether what line you're going to want to run, because before you had different options with the worn out pavement, and this time around with the repave, it's going to make some different challenges. So looking forward to it. Get to a short track and kind of mix things up a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see if you can get out there and get the three-peat to start the season here. But before we let you go and get out of here, who would you give a shout out to or thanks to?
There's everybody EDE. Really good team effort tonight, regardless of outcomes. Simrat Market, Roderick Racing Development, VRS, everybody on the team that makes it happen. You guys here in the booth for always putting on a good show every week for the fans watching. Everybody watching at home, appreciate y'all tuning in, and everybody that makes it happen here. Yeah, tonight was a really good race. I applaud everybody. Sometimes we complain about cautions. Tonight was a great race, and happy to see that we got some green laps.
Absolutely, buddy. Well, congrats again on another win. We'll see you next week at Iowa. See if we talk to you again.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks.
Your winner here tonight, Alan Elwood in the 5. We'll bring in one more driver here. I think, Jimmy, we got to give him his due. He did what he could to try and get up there. Finishes with the top 5. Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and talk to Joe Sullivan here tonight?
Yo, Jimmy and Carl on the booth. You copy?
Yeah, I got you, boys.
Hey, that was by far probably impressive, and the most that you had me guessing whether you can make it or get to the front all race. We seen what you did in the beginning and going in like at the last minute, kind of getting a little more fuel and whatnot. So, I mean, it looked from the get-go when the caution started to happen, you already had something set in your mind. We know that you like to go out there and save fuel, especially on these longer when the flag goes green for a long period of time. So just kind of give us a rundown of your race, man. It was fun to watch, and you got a lot of camera time tonight here for the strategy that you pulled off.
Yeah, I just for whatever reason struggled here tonight with like any kind of speed, any kind of pace. So, when that's the case, you got to go into a different kind of mode and maybe try to play a different game. So when the fuel strategy kind of presented itself, I just took advantage of it, and we got those 2 early cautions and came down both times to top off just in case, because at that point it was going to be like a 2-stop, 3-stop, whatever, and then a splash at the end or something. So try to get rid of that, and yeah, just kind of halfway through that first long run, started clutching it and tried to extend it. I did get 1 extra lap than anybody else. I really needed to get 1 more, because even with that, I still ran. I was running out of fuel as we came across the checker there. So I still had to save in that last stint, but I thought maybe it would be enough. But that, I think they seen that and then short pitted and realized, you know, once I could make it, the short pit came into play there, and they just, you know, Alan and all them guys that finished up in front of me just stormed right past me.
Yeah, it definitely came into play. You know, obviously once they knew that they, you know, you could make it. So because if they would have started extending it out, you would have just been kind of hanging, and that, I think that lead would have stayed a lot longer, or you would have made it back to the lead at one point in time, and then they would have to like hopefully be able to run you down. So before, you know, this time they were allowed to basically catch you before even the end of the race even kind of came into play. But either way, it was impressive. It was a good call. You get yourself a good finish here tonight. So for me and Carl especially, and everybody else out there, we want to say congratulations and give you a little time for any shouts they might have in that 76.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Yeah, I gave you guys something, you know, quite a bit to talk about. So, so I'm sure when I go back and watch this, it'll be, you know, I mean, you guys are just probably covering everything, you know, every angle, you know, with, I mean, this is the biggest field of Xfinity ever. So just so much going on. And I'm sure this race kind of flew by for you boys, because I know how it is up there in the booth, you know, and you got a lot of strategies going on and everything. So can't wait to go back and watch and see how everything went up there in the booth and how the racing was. But yeah, just shout out to everybody here at Core, man. It's just keeps getting better and better and bigger. So just keep bringing it on, and you know, we'll keep trying to find some more speed and play these fuel strategy games, and see if we can't snag a win here sometime this season. We'll see how it goes next week at Iowa. But you know, shout out to my sponsors, my wife and my kids. Shout out to them for letting me do this stuff, and Max Auction and my wife's business, Skylar Sullivan Marketing and Design. So shout out to them, and you guys up in the booth. So yep, we'll see you guys next week.
All right, well, we appreciate you as always, and again, thanks for the shout outs. Again, congratulations on the great run and finish here tonight. We'll see you next week, and we'll let you go celebrate with your friends and family.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
That is your 5th place finisher tonight, and the man just tried to save the most money on fuel and trying to spend as little as possible, and it worked out. Got him a top 5 here. Got him a top 5, just sipping on fuel. But this was I mean, Jimmy, I'm kind of lost for words. I mean, I know we have a lot of talent here in the league. I know we have a lot of drivers, but there's also a lot of talent, and I'm not just saying talent as in speed. I'm talking about, you know, talent throughout the field. We got, you know, 4 different divisions, technically 5 if you want to, you know, have the rookies as their own division until they get into their own division. But, you know, so many different skill levels here, but there's a lot of talented drivers that, you know, are willing to give their room. And I love seeing it when it just plays out as good as it did, because Indy can be a rough one, and it can turn into a crap show if you have, you know, just 1 or 2 mistakes, and somebody brings out a caution, everybody gets grouped back together, and then another quick caution, another one, and the pace laps here just seem forever, and it just irks everybody more and more and more. So to see this race go as well as it did with this many drivers, it's a freaking blessing.
Yeah, it's nice to you know, obviously get out here, just watch people enjoy their hobby. I won't lie to say I know I don't drive ovals anymore, but I do miss being out on the track, and it's because of the other drivers. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy watching up here, and I will continue to do so. But yeah, I did at times. I'm like, man, I wish I was on the track, because that's, you know, it's all about racing. You love it. So I mean, every now and then you get that itch, you want to get back out there. But it's Indy here, and it wasn't a short track, so maybe that's why. Maybe I was like, maybe it would be all right. But we love everything here. We love all the drivers. We love all the fans, and we will keep coming back. Put on a great show, and yeah, looking forward to next week, Carl.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be Iowa next week with a little bit of a repave. We'll see how that track is. I know it was bumpy as a mofo. We'll just put it that way before. So hopefully it's a little smoother. We get some good running out there, and maybe see the same kind of action that we've seen here, just on a lot smaller scale, a lot smaller track next week. I want to thank our series sponsor here for the Core Xfinity Series, presented by Elwood Designs, and that is Elwood Designs. They've been making custom liveries for the iRacing community since 2012, specializing in the NASCAR class vehicles. They can offer designs on various other options within the service. If you're looking to make your own livery but don't have the time to make your own base design, you can purchase Elwood design bases at simrapmarket.com. or you can find Elwood Designs online on Facebook or on X. I want to thank everyone for tuning in here tonight. It wasn't just a blast out there for a ton of drivers, but a lot of fans out there watching out here tonight too. So if you haven't done so yet, hit that thumbs up, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We'll get you in touch with everything that Siren has to offer as we got some more racing action yet in the week. We got CSRL coming up tomorrow night. We got VVR and no VVR this week, but we got the Core GT Series on Thursday. But for myself and Jimmy here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we'll see you at the track.